Good evening, everyone. Welcome to the April Planning Commission meeting. We're going to start off with a word of prayer by Commissioner Prater, followed by the Pledge of Allegiance. If you would, please stand.
Please join me in prayer. Gracious Heavenly Father, we thank you for this day. Thank you for the rain, and we thank you for the sun. We also thank you for this forum where our citizens and leaders can come together to discuss and make decisions in ways that improve our daily lifestyle and our safety. Guide us as we debate with civility as you would have us to do. Help us in what we do to be pleasing to you and make our results bring glory to you. Amen.
Amen. Thank you, Chuck. Please join me in the pledge. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which stands one nation under God, indivisible, liberty and justice for all. All right, let's go ahead and open and call to order the Planning Commission meeting. If we could do roll call, please, Laura.
Byrd. Here. Knack.
Here.
Lowe.
Here.
Prater.
Here.
DeArmond. Here. O'Gwen.
Here.
Young.
Here. All right, 7-0. We do have a quorum. If we could, go ahead and get acceptance of our meeting minutes from our March Planning Commission meeting. If there's any changes or corrections, I'd entertain those. If not, entertain a motion to approve those.
Motion. Second.
Got a motion to approve from DeArmond as fast, and a second from Knack. Roll call vote, please, Laura.
Byrd.
Yes.
Lowe.
Yes.
Young.
Yes.
Knack.
Yes.
DeArmond.
Yes.
Prater.
Yes.
O'Gwen.
Yes. All right, 7-0, motion passes. Minutes are approved from last month. We will, hang on, I'm behind here. We'll switch over to our Board of Adjustment meeting and go ahead and do roll call for it and call that meeting to order. Laura?
Knack.
Here.
Byrd. Here. Lowe.
Here.
Prater.
Here.
O'Gwen.
Here.
DeArmond. Here. Young.
Here. All right, 7-0, we do have a quorum. Let's go ahead and get the meeting minutes from our March Board of Adjustment meeting approved. If there's any corrections, I'd entertain those. If not, a motion to approve.
Motion to approve.
Motion from Lowe,
Second.
second from DeArmond. Roll call vote, please, Laura.
Prater.
Yes.
Lowe,
Yes.
Young,
Yes.
Byrd,
Yes.
Knack,
Yes.
DeArmond,
Yes.
O'Gwen.
Yes.
7-0. The minutes are approved from March. So we'll go into our first item of new business. It is 7:03. Go ahead and open up the new business.
A variance, 10 Newcastle Drive, front setback encroachment, Kevin McGee. Okay, as you can see in the staff report, this is a variance request for an encroachment in the front setback at 10 Newcastle Drive. This is a residential property. They are asking to encroach 5 feet into the front setback in order to build a front porch on this property. As you can see, it's in an established subdivision on a corner lot. The applicant is here to discuss this a little bit further with you. If you have any questions for me, I can answer them. If not, again, the applicant's here to address any questions that you may have for them.
All right, thank you, Laura. Commissioners have any questions of Laura? All right, seeing none, if I go ahead and get the applicant to come forward and introduce yourself. Are you Kevin McGee?
I am.
Okay.
Yes, Mr. Chairman, the reason we want the variance is because, as you can see, I'm an amputee. And 4 feet is just not enough for me to safely move around on the front deck. I'm also enclosing the breezeway. So the idea is to enclose the breezeway, level that bottom part of the breezeway, because I have a ramp on it that's too steep for me to safely go down and come back up. So it's going to join the porch. That way I can get onto the porch and turn around and come back into the house.
So it looks like it's would it be a 5-foot variance that
Yes,
we're
sir.
asking for? Okay,
It'd go from 4 to 9 feet,
gotcha.
right there with the curve of the sidewalk.
Okay. And Laura, I mentioned to you earlier, or asking you about the setbacks. You said this was a location that's got 30-foot setbacks, which is a little bit more
Correct. This,
restrictive than most neighborhoods.
correct. This subdivision was platted with a 30-foot building setback line along Newcastle Drive. Typically, your R1 subdivisions are 25. The reasoning, I'm not sure for the reasoning behind the 30-foot when this subdivision was platted.
I was telling Laura earlier, commissioners, that some cities have building setback line at the face of the house and allow porches to extend past that, whether it's steps or a porch overhang or an awning, that sort of thing. It's not here, but some other municipalities have that in their code. So just want to let you guys.
Saying that doesn't include, or isn't included in the setback of the building?
Yeah, in other cities, I know North Little Rock and Little Rock have some similar codes where they'll actually let the porch extend out past the front building line, so. But any questions for the applicant from commissioners? All right. Thank you, Kevin. Appreciate it.
Okay, thank you.
Appreciate your service too, sir.
Yes, sir.
If no other questions, I'd entertain a motion to approve the variance for the setback.
Motion to approve.
Got a motion from Byrd. Got a second?
Second.
Second from Lowe. Roll call vote, please, Laura.
Lowe,
Yes.
Knack,
Yes.
O'Gwen,
Yes.
Prater,
Yes.
Byrd,
Yes.
DeArmond,
Yes.
Young.
Yes. 7-0. Motion passes. Thank you, Kevin. Appreciate it.
Thank you, Council.
Yes. All right, we will go ahead. It is 7:07. We will close the Board of Adjustment meeting and move over into Planning Commission agenda. And the first item, Laura?
Preliminary plat, Oak Hill Terra Verde LLC. Okay, as you can see, this is a preliminary plat for a subdivision located along Highway 5. They currently, the property is currently zoned R2. This was rezoned several months back. So now they are coming before you with a preliminary plat to propose an approval of approximately 212 residential lots. Again, this property is located along Highway 5. They will have two major entrances that will access Highway 5, one on the north end of the property and one on the south end of the property. As you can see in the staff report, there were several comments, but most of the comments have been addressed. There are a few outstanding items that we feel that staff and the applicant can probably address amongst ourselves. If you have any questions for me, I can answer them. The applicant is here if you have any questions for him.
Thank you, Laura. Commissioners, have any questions for Laura? All right. Is the applicant here want to step up and speak? If you would introduce yourself, yeah.
My name is Jimmy Don Overton. I'm the managing member for Terra Verde. We were before you all several months ago to have this rezoned, and we've submitted our preliminary plat. As Ms. Noble said, so we've gone through this 3 different times because we wanted to make sure we get everything addressed. Remaining, we've got just a few items which are should be able to be cleaned up. As Ms. Noble said, there's a couple of the items, or the majority of the items are in the drainage report, which I talked to the engineer today, and he believes he can get those cleared up here in the next week. It's just, he thought he had addressed them when we submitted it on the 20th. It came back on the 28th, and he was like, "Oh, I missed that one," but he can clarify those. So we would ask that this be approved with a conditional approval, as Ms. Noble said, where we can submit the rest of the stuff to the planning staff, because I believe that we've hit all the major things. We've just got a few little cleanup items to do, because we're just trying to move this thing forward. And I can answer any questions anybody has. I've been working on this thing for over a year. I'm not an engineer. I'm not a surveyor. I'll tell you that on the front end. But I've been through this many times, so I should be able to answer most questions. Unless it's a detailed engineering question, I won't be able to answer that. So if anybody has anything, if I can't answer it, I will definitely get you an answer.
I've got a question. The drives that exit out to the north and south at dead end, are those on like a future street plan or future development expansion, or the ones that where it tees up and it goes to the north?
So when we first spoke with planning staff, with Laura on that, we were requested to put the one in the center from the north going up, because the Cabot city limits end at our property. Cabot Waterworks has in their long-term plan where the ditch is in the northeast corner, extending the gravity sewer line that's at New Life Church up through there eventually, so that way that area north of us can be brought into the city of Cabot. Because the north of us is the city of Cabot. Everybody knows Highway 5. To the west of us is the city of Cabot. So we're at the top corner there. And then we've got a pump station in there, and we've talked with Tim over at Cabot Waterworks, because if that line gets in before we get to that stage, we won't put in the pump station, we'll tie into that. And so that road is there, so eventually if that does get brought into the city of Cabot, then there'll be an access in there. The one on the south corner, when we did the rezone, there's a 15.5 acre area in there between us and an existing subdivision. And when we had this rezone, I explained to the staff and to this commission that because there's a lot of water issues up there, so we're leaving that currently native to help absorb some of that water flow while we're doing construction. And so eventually, once we get this complete and we get all the water issues done on that, then we may develop that below. So that southeast corner road is for future development of that 15 acres if we develop it. So that's the two points I think that you're asking there, Mr. Young. Is that correct?
Yeah, that's correct. So are you handling the water through a detention pond and that?
Well, we've
that
got
corner?
7 detention ponds to try to get the water. And I feel like so I don't know how many of y'all have been out there before, but the developer that had that way back when, but for the existing neighborhood below, cut streets in there like 10 or 12 years ago. And so I've been up there, right, since we bought this because I wanted to see it. And when it rains, where they cut out those streets, it's like riverbeds. And so it all channels in there and it runs down. And so we're going to stop the majority of that, just because it's running, if you go up there and look right now, it's washed out. I mean, when we put that in, we're going to capture the majority of that water. And that's in our drainage report. Again, we've just got a couple little cleanups in the drainage report, but we feel confident that we're going to capture the majority of the water. And again, if you look at it, I've got 7 detention areas. I mean, and under the UDC in your code, it says to plan for a 1 in 10 year event. We've planned for the 25-year event with 100-year detention. So we've planned for 25-year flood. We oversized all of our detention to get extra storage, again, to try to help. And that's in the drainage report, to try to help. Again, I'm not an engineer, but that was the plan that I gave the engineer, was design over and then design detention over as well, because we're trying to be good neighbors.
Laura, and that drainage report included drainage calculations for all those ponds?
Yes.
What does the drainage report talk about discharge? I mean, how are you discharging these ponds? And
Well, again, I'm not an engineer. And it's hard to see on the map, but each one discharges to different areas. And the calculations are on the district. Again, I'm not an engineer. But the report addresses the pre-development versus post-development discharge.
Who was an engineer? Record? Who's the engineer?
Christopher Corbett out of Conway, with Pearson Associates, or PEIS. He's got 2 different engineering companies. And he's got the flu. He was going to be here tonight, but I told him not to come because I figured y'all would rather not catch the flu or have him sneezing and hacking.
Chairman,
Yes.
more questions.
Sure.
We're changing subjects. The drives out to Highway 5,
Yes, sir.
what's the sight distance on those, and
What's the what?
the sight distance? What is your intersection sight distance on those 2 driveways?
Again, I'm not an engineer. I don't know the details. So we're working with RDOT right now on that. So they've approved those 2 streets, but they're widening Highway 5. They're in the design phase right now on those 2 streets currently.
I understand that was follow-up to that is, are you in conversation with RDOT for right of way and
We are and
making
have
allowances
been.
for their widening?
We are and have been, and they've submitted some stuff to me Friday, and they had the south one in the wrong location. It was 75 feet higher than it was supposed to be. So they're supposed to be getting me more stuff this week to get it in the right location.
The question I would have is your sight distance on those. What is it planned for? What did you design it for? What's it planned for? Because currently you're on a 2-lane roadway. That
Yes, sir.
requires 1 sight distance. This will be not a 2-lane roadway going forward, so your sight distance is going to be much greater than that because you're crossing
Well,
4 lanes of traffic versus 2 to
yes, sir.
get out of there. So
We won't, we won't do that, the north entrance, until after they're either in or done with their expansion, because we're gonna start in the south. And so we won't be up there, and then the south one would be, it's not really 4-lane traffic right now. It's where that south entrance is where where the mobile home park is?
well, if I looked at this correctly, you've got driveways on both sides of the crest of the hill.
Well, there's
Or you've got access roads on both
streets,
sides.
new
Yes,
city
streets.
streets, yes, sir.
On both sides of the crest of the hill. So you're creating 2 intersections that probably don't have the required sight distance, would be my guess.
RDOT said that the sight distances are
I
fine.
don't think that'd be on the developer and the city to check those, in my opinion.
We're probably looking about 1,000-foot side between the two streets.
I mean, 1,000 foot between the streets, but you can't see from one street to
Correct.
the other because
Well, notice there's a hill in the middle.
there's a crest in the way. Yes, so.
So that's
my
all,
guess
that's
is
the
you-
only way I can give you the
My
distance.
guess is
at the
you
moment.
only have around 400, 450 foot of sight distance in there right now, and that intersection probably requires around 675 as it is,
Which intersection, the south or the north?
either one of them.
Again, I'm not an engineer. I don't know the answer, but I can get you the answer to that question.
Yeah, I think that's important if we're citing driveway, or citing intersections here with a site plan, that we probably should know that.
If I could tag on to that, I was on a commission many years ago when Mr. Westbrook tried to develop that, and we turned it down because of the road coming out on that hill, or just below it. Sight difference, or sight distance was terrible, where he wanted to come out with it.
And we've actually moved it 70 feet south from where he had it.
Okay, and
It looks like somebody tried to move it as far away from the crest as possible to get as much sight as there.
Yes, but that's what, well,
My
we,
question is, what is that? It doesn't meet minimum standard.
and again, I don't know the exact dimension of that. I apologize. I'm not the surveyor or the engineer. But we had I've got the old preliminary plat from the previous one that you're talking about, Mr. Prater. And we moved it 75 feet down as far as we could before the next drop off. Because
Okay.
as you know, that topography there's that big hill, there's a little bit of a flat spot, and then it drops off again.
yeah,
And so he had it still in the slope. We moved it all the way down to the far edge of the flat spot to get it as far away.
okay. And your property rises real quick from the roadway, does it not?
No, sir, not where our entrance is.
Okay,
But we moved it down there, it's
it's flat.
flat and then it comes up. And the same thing on the north side. That hill comes down and then it kind of levels out and then that's where we have that drop. So where the big hill is the spot that we're not gonna build on.
Okay.
And that's where Cabot Waterworks has got an easement in there. We've got one with First Electric and then RDOT's also gonna be in there. So,
So I would encourage you to see what RDOT's doing to the line and grade of that road. They may be helping you by widening that, or maybe giving you more visibility and flattening out. I don't know that, but just from my look, the way it exists right now, I don't think you have adequate sight distance.
like I said, and I appreciate that question and I will get that answer. And again, we would ask for a,
It's probably about 200 feet from what I'm looking on Google.
You're looking from 10 foot high versus 3.5 foot high. So
Well,
it's a skewed optic.
but I can get my surveyor out there to do that. I mean, he can get the distance.
Yeah, Laura, do you know if they're taking down that hill as they widen it?
I don't know that answer.
I don't know if they're taking down the hill, but I believe they're leveling off part of that hill. At least, because they're taking part of, because they've got an easement from me to cut into part of that hill. And it looks like they're not taking it down, but flattening off the top, because it's got a little bit of a hump right there.
I know they're designing, I have not seen that.
And that design keeps changing.
I
so
don't know
that's-
what they're doing with the line and grade, if they're flattening some of those hills for better stopping sight distance or what it is.
Yes,
but-
and I can
But,
get
you know,
that.
the running grade of the road is one thing, that's stopping sight distance. Your intersection sight distance is a different animal than that.
Yes, sir. And I'll get the answer to that for you, for sure.
Do we need some kind of a statement from the highway department?
So RDOT has to approve the entrances, yes.
And you don't have those approvals?
No.
You don't have minimum sight distance for intersections?
No, he was asking the approvals from RDOT for these roads. I don't have
I
approval
understand
for
that
them.
the driveway or the access permit is from RDOT, but
We do
I
have
think
minimum
that
sight distance.
minimum sight distance would be
Yes.
covered under your review.
Mr. Overton, I got a question about the grades for the subdivision. Are you taking down a lot of those grades as well, or are you building just with the contours as they are?
We're building the
Today.
contour, except if you'll look on the, well, you can't see because we don't, the grading plan isn't part of that, but,
I've got the next
can you pull up the plat?
that one there.
So the northeast corner, can you zoom in on that a little bit?
I
Do you have
can't.
the ability to do that?
No, I can't. Unless, can you zoom in on the PowerPoint? He's controlling it.
Well, because if you could zoom in a little bit, then I can tell you the lot numbers where we're doing it. It would help you see it better.
Or back up, yeah, on that one. If you can zoom in on,
The northeast corner.
yeah, the northeast corner.
I mean, I can,
If not, just
if I could,
carry on.
I don't know if I'm tall enough on either one of those. There you go. Could you slide it over that way and then zoom in to the,
Top
this
right-hand
corner.
corner. Yeah, top right-hand corner. Yep.
and then a little bit more.
Yeah, that's about as good as you're gonna get.
Okay, so you can see where that cross street that's going north into, for future. And then you can see where Oak Hill Trail goes, and then it curves around, and there's that block of lots right there. And those are lots 13 to 31. If you look on the topography, you can see that there's a gully right there. And so on our plan, we're gonna fill that in and change the elevation of that. The rest of it, we're gonna leave more or less the way it is. But we're gonna reshape that because that's washing out and running in. And that's on the drainage plan, that's on all the plans. Showing that.
Are these 5-foot contours or 1-foot contour intervals? Do you know?
I believe they're
you know,
5 or 10, they're not 1. Let me see.
If they're 5-foot, then each typical lot has about 10 to 15 feet of fall from one side to the other.
We're gonna have some fall on quite a few lots. Just because it's on top of that hill.
Okay, anything else? Anything else from
I
your
don't have
presentation?
anything.
Commissioners have any questions of the applicant? Thank you, Mr. Overton.
Yes, sir.
Yeah,
And
appreciate
again, we would ask for a conditional approval conditioned on answering Mr. Lowe's question and clarifying the last couple of items from the planning commission, as Ms. Noble said at the outset. And I appreciate y'all's time.
Thank you, sir.
Yes, sir.
So judging by the crowd we have tonight, I know probably most of you guys are interested in this project, I'm assuming. This is not a part of the public hearing. We have community input as the next phase of discussion. So the commission will continue to discuss this one, vote, and then we have another item, and then community input, we'll let you guys come up and talk about the item. So commissioners have any other comments or questions? All right, see none, I'd entertain a motion.
To approve.
Got a motion to approve from Commissioner Prater. I'm assuming that's with RDOT approvals and staff comments. attached to that motion, Chuck?
I'm sorry.
So I'm assuming that's with RDOT approvals and staff comments.
Yes, sir.
All right, do I have a second? Don't everybody speak at once? No second? I think the Roberts Rules of Order means it fails. Is that correct, Ben? All right, so that motion is not approved, that fails. So I need my legal help here, Ben. So do we just go to the next item, or is?
Yes, at this point, this item has failed for lack of a second. So for the developer's purposes, it's as if it had failed any other way, so it's subject to appeal and all that, and you just go on to the next
Okay,
item. Yes.
all right. We'll move on to the next item of business. Laura?
Site plan, Lot 7, Plaza Commercial Development, Building Bridges, Lemons Engineering.
All right, this item, I've got to recuse myself, and I'm going to let Commissioner Lowe take over.
All right, Laura, go ahead and read the item, please.
Okay, as you can see, this is a site plan approval for 205 Plaza Boulevard. This is Lone Oak Exceptional School Building Bridges. They are wanting to expand their building in the rear of the property. Some of you may remember this project. They actually did present it to us about almost 2 years ago. It's being brought back before you because the time frame for the site plan approval had expired and they had not started construction. So they are now moving forward with construction. So again, this is an approval for a site plan of approximately just over 1,000 square feet addition on the rear of the building that's already about 5,800 square feet. They are doing some improvements in the front as well, as far as some new striping of the parking lot. They're keeping mainly everything else the same. Within the staff report, there's only just a couple items that are normal bullet point items that can be addressed by the applicant. Other than that, if you have any questions for me, I can answer them.
Thank you, Laura. Is anyone here to represent the applicant this item? Seeing none. Commissioners, any questions for staff? Seeing none of those, entertain a motion to address the item.
Motion to approve.
Motion from DeArmond,
Second.
second from Byrd. Roll call, please, Laura.
O'Gwen,
Yes.
DeArmond,
Yes.
Prater,
Yes.
Byrd,
Yes.
Knag,
Yes.
Lowe.
Yes. All right, with that, 7-0, that item passes, and I'll hand the podium back over to our chairman.
Would it be 6-1, actually?
Correct.
My recuse.
6-1.
Yeah, my recusal counts as a no, I think. But thank you, Commissioner Lowe. All right. So next we'll go to community input. I think most of you saw that motion failed, so there is nothing moving forward with that development this time. So if anybody from the community does want to address the planning commission, you can, but there won't be any action on that item tonight. So anyone? Yes, sir. Yes, please come up, state your name, your address. Give us keep it under 3 minutes, we'd be appreciate that.
Evening, everyone. My name's Jeff Allen. My wife and I, Corey, we're both Air Force retirees. We've got a little 5-year-old autistic boy. Was born right here in Little Rock. We're just outside of Cabot, in Little Rock. We live on the back side of the New Life Church. That's just outside of the West Oakview Drive property there. Hear a lot of discussion about drainage and all that on the internets, and some of that was brought up here. I lived in the house about 2 years now. We decided to settle here. This is a good place for our son. It's a good place for our eldest daughter. She's going to graduate from Cabot High here soon. And then just recently, my wife told me about this new development, this property that's going to get put up in our neighborhood. It might impact traffic, might impact utilities and things, drainage, those kind of things. That ditch goes all around our property, all throughout the neighborhood. I hear everybody talking about how it's gotten worse and worse over the years. And now we're talking about adding more occupants, new residents, possibly, and some of these new dwellings that are going to be in the nearby area. Those areas, while they get treated every year, the 2 years that I lived there, it seems like the water builds. We do our best to try and keep it clear, the two of us. But I feel like this new property, and again, I'm a little late to this party, and I'm finding out that these developments are happening since we decided to purchase the property and move in. But I feel like these new developments are going to add a lot of strain on the issues. I live between the New Life Church and that sump station that's there, the power station, all that utility. So I'm part of this easement. I probably should have started with that. We've been there for about these 2 years, and every time there's a big downpour, past couple of days, last big storm season that came through, that ditch is probably 7 foot deep, and it's rising almost to the top. Just earlier today and even yesterday, it was near the top. And I see Cabot City Works and the street department coming out and clearing the roads and clearing up things and everything, but I think it's important to live right there on the apex of all this drainage in our neighborhood. I get random neighbors that come on down and they're checking everything out to make sure the drainage is fine and everything is good, but it just seems like it's getting worse and worse. So I'm not here to complain. I just wanted to bring some information to folks from someone who's been living and just watching and keeping an eye on things. Trying to be a good steward, good neighbor.
All right. Thank you, Jeff. Appreciate it.
Thank you all.
Anyone else? Anything else other than the Terra Verde project? All right, seeing none, we're going to go ahead and adjourn the meeting. Commissioners, got a motion to adjourn?
So moved.
Motion.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All right, see you guys next month. Thank you all.